All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. 64 degrees at 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, September 11th. I'm Lee Harris. Here's what's happening. It's primary day, and the polls are open in New York City. Voters are deciding among about 250 candidates for mayor, city council, and assorted other positions.
My name is Andrew Barone. On September 11, 2001, I was a detective with the New York City Police Department assigned to the Manhattan South Narcotic District. The day of, I consider September 10th, the day before the attack, like, I don't know, a timeline. That was that one day before when life was kind of normal. I remember who was on Monday Night Football. The Giants were playing the Denver Broncos, and I remember what I was doing that day. And then from that next day of September 11th, I think it just felt like everything changed. The world changed from that day on. So I always look at the day before as kind of like, the way things were. I got up my usual earlier in the morning, and I went and exercised at the gym. Came home and I, got cleaned up, got dressed, and I had to go down to the courthouse in Manhattan, which is about 3 or 4 blocks away, actually. And I got on. Usually, when I had a court assignment, I would take a commuter bus because I could sleep on the bus. Didn't have to worry about traffic too much. I could kind of take it easy. The bus was leaving the main road in Queens, and a gentleman in the bus said, "Wow, a plane just hit World Trade Center." And I thought it was a small Cessna plane, some person trying to get a good view of the city and kind of clip the building a little bit. And then I was like, how could someone do that? And the gentleman turned around and said, no, the reports are saying it's a commercial airliner. Well, at that point I realized this is different, because a professional pilot wouldn't make that mistake. A professional pilot wouldn't fly that low over Midtown Manhattan. So I did realize at that point there was more at hand than just an accident or someone making a kind of like a misread or flying too close.
I believe that the World Trade Center was chosen, though, because it's a civilian target. When the attackers came after the Pentagon, I think that if they had just stuck with the Pentagon, I know we would have been upset. I know we would have responded. But there's something about attacking defenseless men and women who have no link to the political world and threatening and destroying their livelihood. And in that regard, that's when 9/11 became such a terrifying element. I grew up on Army bases, and the Army bases had bomb threats all the time. My elementary school, we had at least 2 bomb threats. It was a normal thing. And because we were military families, it was kind of just part of our normality. But to go after civilians on a business day, deliberately on a day which is 9/11. That was such a over-the-top emphasis on how much they could try to destroy who we were.
We didn't go very far up the stairs, because when you start to get into the stairwell, you had firemen with their apparatus trying to go up, and then you had people trying to come down. And it was kind of decided that the worst thing we could do is clog the stairways by trying to get up the stairways. It was originally attacked as, and I mean attacked is a bad word to use, but it was strategically handled from the ground as a high-rise fire. Firemen made their headquarters in the lobby, which they always do. The panel usually behind whatever kind of security desk is the fire panel, where they could plug in everything, control the elevators, control everything they needed to control. No one ever foresaw that they were going to fall. The towers were going to fall. We didn't even see that the second tower was going to be hit. No one thought that. No one at all.
My name is Mark Zonk. I worked in the quality management department at the McGuire VA Medical Center in Richmond, Virginia. When the attacks happened on the World Trade Center, I think the initial response from everybody, and probably including the government, was shock. We did first hear about the first plane crashing into the tower, and listened for the news and everything. We eventually turned the TV on and saw the subsequent plane did hit the tower also. So I think at first everybody initially thought it was a accident, plane accidentally crashed into the tower, and then once the second one, people started talking about the terrorist attacks and things of that nature. When the event first occurred, once we found out what was going on, everybody tried to contact their family members. Very difficult getting through. All the landlines were locked. Not very many cell phones were available at the time. Even then, the cell towers was overwhelmed with calls, and they couldn't hold the volume of calls going on. So it was pretty much a freeze nationwide.
When I first came down to Virginia, though, I noticed in 2008 it wasn't a big deal. Like on September 11, 2008, it was like just a normal day. It wasn't that made a big deal. Where in New York, it's a big deal. That is a big deal. When situations like that happen, or when you go into a scene and you have a uniform on, people give you that look like, oh gosh, someone's here to help me. And that look on someone's face, that at ease look, that you make them feel at ease, it's tremendous.
Lois Lashley talked about going down the stairs and passing a fireman. And Louis Lashley said that Louis Lashley had no idea where he was going, and he was stumbling. And that firefighter knew exactly where he was going, and he didn't miss a goddamn step. That is courage, selflessness, bravery.